James Browning Jr. was shot and around 11:30 at the Dixon Grocery in South Dallas. Police say that the gunman pulled up while Browning was in front of the store and started shooting, leaving dozens of shell casings behind.
A Dallas rapper is dead today after he was shot on I-35. 28-year-old Melvin Noble, also known as Mo3, was shot on I-35 northbound near the...
Yeah, I said that when I got in the casket, I said, damn, this is how I feel to be dead.
There's no denying it. Mo3 was about that life. When his best friend Bubba got gunned down, he wasn't about to just let it slide.
I called him nephew. My young man, he died. He died last year. You know what I'm saying, 2019, he got
That man wore in the streets of Dallas. And Mo3 wasn't about to let his oops off without showing how weak he believed they were.
Motherfucker, in that old, that's a year ago. You ain't want to scratch. I was telling him, blood, I just want to fight. I just want to beat you up.
But Mo3's retaliation set things in motion. And apparently, 1 year after Bubba's death, sources claim he found himself being hunted down in broad daylight.
Police say the victim, a hip-hop musician named Mo3, was approached by the killer on I-35. Both men stopped their vehicles. The victim got out, took off, started running, but was shot several times on the highway.
Some call it karma. Others say it was bound to happen. But one thing's for sure, Mo3 didn't go out for nothing. Was this the price of loyalty, or was he always destined for a tragic end? Let's get into it. For those who don't know, Bubba was more than just a friend to Mo3. He was family. The two had been tight for years, coming up together in the Dallas rap scene and navigating the streets. Bubba was known for his loyalty, his ambition, and his deep connection with Mo3. He wasn't just a bystander in Mo3's career, he was a motivator, a supporter, and sometimes even a collaborator behind the scenes.
Cuz, you ain't that how cuz, my mom. Yeah, bitch like this, yeah. So like, nah, I'm ready and I'm standing on that, man. You know, we slang high about that, man. That's my guy.
Bubba's presence in Mo3's life wasn't just about music. It was about brotherhood. They had each other's backs. And Bubba was one of the few people Mo3 truly trusted. The two had grown up facing the same struggles, hustling to make a name for themselves in a city where opportunities were scarce and danger was always lurking. But on March 13, 2019, Texas rapper Mo3 was about to face a tragedy that hit him hard. His close friend, who he called his nephew, 20-year-old James Browning Jr., better known as Bubba, was about to become the victim of a brutal attack that shook the whole community. That Wednesday night, Bubba was hanging out at Dixon Grocery, a convenience store in South Dallas on the 3700 block of Dixon Street, not knowing what was coming.
So tonight, neighbors worry about crime after a man was shot outside a southern Dallas grocery store. The gunfire erupted late last night in the neighborhood around Elsie Faye Higgins and Highway 350.
It was after 10 p.m. and Bubba was just chilling, enjoying the night. He was a regular at the store, and the owner always welcomed him like family. Dressed in a white vest and long jeans, he stood outside minding his own business, completely unaware that danger was already lurking.
It was right here outside Dixon Grocery in South Dallas where neighbors say the chaos happened.
All these bullet holes.
This grocery store now covered with bullet holes.
Meanwhile, surveillance footage from the store shows a white Dodge Durango SUV creeping into view. The vehicle rolls past Bubba slowly, almost like it's scoping things out, before pulling over to the side of the grocery store. Bubba notices the car but doesn't think much of it, going about his business, unaware that his life is in serious danger.
Bubba is standing right next to the front of the door, just hanging out, standing calmly, not being bothered, obviously not knowing what these guys were about to do to him.
And the car pulling around to the side of the building comes to a stop. At this point, the driver remains in the vehicle, while two darkly attired assailants, one of lighter skin complexion, exit the car and began walking towards the front of the store with firearms brandished.
Pull around to the side of the building, they stop. Two of those individuals get out in dark clothing. One seems to be a lighter skinned male, one seems to be a darker skinned male. The driver stays.
Impending tragedy was about to strike. Taking a closer look at the surveillance footage, Bubba began walking away the moment he saw the SUV drive to the side, as if instinct told him something wasn't right with the vehicle's movements.
But Bubba might have felt like something was up. Watch. He glances at the white SUV going round back. As soon as it's out of his sight, he casually starts to walk.
Bubba continues in a calm and cool manner, passing in front of the entrance door, where he briefly acknowledges two other customers, one exiting to his white car parked outside. A few seconds later, Bubba glances back over his right shoulder, and that was the pivotal moment where his life was about to meet its end.
And takes a quick look over his right shoulder just before the bullets.
While all of this was happening at the front of the store, the two assailants were getting into position to carry out their attack on Bubba. Once they get into view of the front of the store, they set their mark on the target ahead and begin firing a round of shots that let off in rapid succession.
And takes a quick look over his right shoulder just before the bullets fly.
They come out with their long guns. As soon as they get to their corner, they're already up and start firing at Bubba.
The customer heading to his parked vehicle reacts quickly, shimmying around his car to evade the bullets. Bubba also instantly ducks and tries his best to dodge the hailstorm of gunfire while scurrying to his best chance at escaping inside the store. But sadly, it was already too late, and Bubba succumbed to injuries sustained from bullet wounds right inside the store.
For cover, runs into the store, where he gets to the back of the store and collapses. Unfortunately, when he collapsed, he dies right there in this.
The assailants, completing the task they arrived to do, rush back to the waiting getaway vehicle to make their escape while still firing backwards. At approximately around 11:30 p.m., the Dallas Police Department would respond to the shooting, arriving to find a lifeless James Brown Jr., aka Bubba, in the grocery store.
Discovered the victim, James Brown Jr., suffering from multiple gunshot wounds.
The acting unit commander for the homicide unit at the time, Calvin Johnson, confirmed that the assailants didn't stage a robbery or attack any other individual, but left right after taking the life of Bubba, further verifying that he was the one targeted for whatever reason there may have been.
Is there any sort of robbery afterwards or anything where the shots fired and the information you have is the suspects immediately left the scene?
The suspects immediately left the scene. There was no robbery.
The MDR scene quickly became overrun with blue and red light and yellow tape as detectives began collecting evidence and marking out bullet holes and shell castings. In the background, you could hear the anguish, anger, and pain in the voices of locals wanting justice, while others mourned the loss of another youth. The search was on for the two gunmen responsible for the senseless act of violence that took one life and endangered everyone in the vicinity of the crime. The night went by, but the signs of the tragedy still lingered on the grocery store, with bullet holes visible about the building. Residents were now left in fear, knowing that the persons responsible are still at large and armed.
I'm scared.
Tamia Hall lives nearby. She's among neighbors feeling on edge, knowing Browning's killers haven't been caught.
You know, just walking, catching the bus is kind of scary because it can happen.
Neighbors say Browning was popularly known as Bubba. People who knew the man described him as a regular customer at Dixon Grocery. Just sad, said Gwen Langston as she counted the bullet holes covering the walls and doors of the grocery store. Real sad. I knew Bubba real good. Tamia Hall was among neighbors feeling on edge, knowing the gunmen haven't been identified nor arrested. I'm scared, said Hall as she waited for a bus across from the store on Thursday. You know, just walking and catching the bus is kind of scary because it could happen in the daytime. Some neighbors say Dixon Grocery has been a nuisance, though signage outside the store says no loitering. Some homeowners say crowds congregate outside the place regularly. I was like, golly, neighbor Antonio Adams said. He heard the gunfire from his home several blocks away. It's not even so much a frustration, Adams said. It's just short of getting to the point of being overwhelmed. To me, it's just like, damn, man, another one. Others recall the unnerving feeling being as far as several blocks away at home, enjoying their night when the sounds of gunfire erupted, shaking their surroundings. The collective voice of the community was one of being overwhelmed by the gun violence that stole another life.
I'm on my phone and I just feel the walls rattling. Damn.
Bubba was gone, and it would leave a scar on many friends and family who knew the young man, not even yet experiencing all life had to offer. Condolences began flooding online platforms that showed just how much Bubba was loved by his peers. There was one person in particular who was feeling the full brunt of Bubba's passing. His close friend and affiliate Melvin Noble, known as the Dallas rising rap star, Mo3. He always called Bubba nephew, as he saw him as one of his own. They were close and had a solid bond.
Yeah, big gorilla, you know what I'm saying? Big general for life, you know what I'm saying? That's my youngin', I call him nephew. My young nigga, man.
In an interview speaking on Bubba, Mo3 hinted to the lifestyle that Bubba might have lived to have someone targeting his life. It appears that Bubba was a part of the Crips, a gang that is known and established globally with various factions.
Do it for you, and say that's on Bubba. If that certain right there is for Bubba, that's what I'm doing it for him right then and there. Cause I know this, he gonna say, "Cool, he was crippin'."
Losing Bubba weighed heavy on Mo3. But he moved forward and lived with Bubba always in his heart wherever life took him. But while Mo3 and the loved ones of Bubba were mourning, one person was gratifying his emder, a Texas rapper by the name of Kieran Peters, aka Goyayo. The rapper had a past feud with Mo3 and saw Bubba's death as a way to poke fun and taunt his rival. Via his Facebook profile, Goyayo would make the disrespectful comment, "Make all them songs got your partner whacked," ending the distasteful verse with a slew of laughing emojis. People close to the situation claimed that Bubba's death wasn't random. It wasn't some robbery gone wrong or an accident. It was targeted. Word on the streets was that Bubba had been caught up in a beef that had been simmering for a while. But here's where it gets interesting. Some say the hit on Bubba wasn't even about him. They say it was meant to send a message to Mo3 himself.
When I got in the casket, I said, damn, this is how I feel to be dead.
This wasn't just some local street drama. This was personal. And if there's one thing about Mo3, he wasn't the type to let things go. If you took one of his people, you best believe he was coming back for you. After Bubba's death, things got real in Dallas. Mo3 was devastated, but that grief quickly turned into anger. The rap game might be full of diss tracks and social media threats, but Mo3 wasn't just talking, he was moving.
What up with you? This chopper I got in my just chop down and cut up, so get up with me.
Rumors started flying about Mo3. Mo3 sliding on his enemies, making sure Bubba's name wasn't forgotten. Whether it was direct payback or just stirring the pot, the violence didn't stop. People close to the situation claimed that Mo3 had his hands in a lot of things behind the scenes, making sure that the people responsible for Bubba's death felt the heat. But here's where it gets even deeper. Some insiders say that Mo3 wasn't just out for revenge, he was actively being hunted himself. Retaliation breeds retaliation, and once Mo3 made his move, the streets started moving against him too. That was the retaliation that led to his eventual death.
That Mo3 was hard as man. I ain't lying, but that was hard. Like, don't you hate when die and then they hardest song ever come out?
Before his rise to fame, Mo3 was no stranger to the streets. Born Melvin Noble, he grew up in Dallas, Texas, and had a tough upbringing. He often spoke in interviews and music about the struggles of growing up in poverty, dealing with violence, and the realities of street life. Mo3 wasn't just rapping about it, he was living it. Mo3's affiliations with street gangs weren't exactly a secret. While he never openly claimed a specific set, his actions, lyrics, and affiliations painted a picture of a man deeply connected to the underworld of Dallas. His beefs with other rappers, street figures, and local crews kept his name hot, not just in the music industry, but in the streets as well.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to know, like, what dude had against me? The manager dude, like, you obsessed with me. Every interview, you speaking of me. I was like, bro, we could all hate together.
In September 2020, Mo3 was reportedly involved in a shootout outside of an adult entertainment club in Houston called V Live Bar Lounge. The incident left 2 people injured, and while Mo3 himself walked away unharmed, it only added to the long list of violent encounters surrounding his name. But according to Houston Crip FDA, Mo3 actually offed 2 people at the club. During an interview with High Thoughts TV, FDA says he offed 2 people in Houston. Yeah, at VI Live. They tried to off him at V Live. Say Cheese posted an interview with Houston vlogger Charleston White after video footage of Mo3 attempting to grab a gun under his glove compartment leaked. He had a stash spot in his car where he keep his pistol, and he couldn't get to it, he said. As y'all saw the video, homie, he went out to try to go get it. Got out the car and tried to go get it. He just didn't have time. If you live in that life and you rapping about it, and you know you got rap beef, I'd rather be caught with it than without it. Many believe that this event intensified the tensions already surrounding it. setting the stage for what would come just 2 months later. MOD was one of the hottest names coming out of Dallas. But let's be real, the rap industry and the streets don't mix well. Some fans believe Mo3's death wasn't just some random street beef catching up to him, but something bigger. Was Mo3 too real for the industry? Did his success put a target on his back? One theory that's been floating around is that Mo3's rise to fame made him a threat, not just to his enemies in the streets, but to people in the industry who didn't want to see him win. Dallas has had its fair share of rap beefs, but Mo3's M-Dare felt different. It wasn't a club shooting or a drive-by. It was a full-on execution in broad daylight. On November 11, 2020, Mo3 was chased down on I-35, shot and offed in what looked like a setup. Surveillance footage shows Mo3 running for his life before being gunned down on the highway. Who has the audacity to pull off something like that in the middle of the day? It wasn't sloppy. It was calculated.
Police say the victim, a hip-hop musician named Mo3, was approached by the killer on I-35. Both men stopped their vehicles. The victim got out, took off, started running, but was shot several times.
And let's not forget the eerie timing. Mo3 was off-led almost exactly 1 year after Bubba's death. Coincidence? Or was this a message being sent loud and clear? Now, there's no shortage of suspects when it comes to Mo3's M-Dare. The official story is that K1 White, a known associate of Mo3's alleged rivals, was arrested and charged in connection with the shooting. But was he really the mastermind? Or just a pawn in a bigger game? Some fans believe Mo3's M-Dare was an industry hit, orchestrated by people who wanted him out of the way. Others think it was strictly street business, a direct consequence of the war that started with Bubba's death. But one thing is clear, Mo3 knew he had enemies, and he wasn't moving like a man who felt safe.
Like with this thug shit, you gonna get shot at, you gonna get shot, you know, missed or hit, you know, it's just all a gamble with.
Anyway, back to the Bubba story. Needless to say, fans of Mo3 and affiliates of Bubba were not amused and made their grievances with Goyayo's comment known, going as far as threatening his life. Mo3 didn't respond to the taunts directly, but indirectly made it known to anyone that Bubba's legacy is something he'll always stand in support of, no matter who is the one he'll have to confront for disrespecting the loss of someone dear to him. One person wrote, "One thing I can tell by the video is that Bubba seen him coming, like a sixth sense kicked in because he looked at the car 2 times before they got out." Another one added, "Somebody will get caught in due time. It's recorded. Rip Mo3 and Young. All will come out. Watch and wait. Justice is the Lord." 2 suspects, Devin Brown and Kewan Dontrell White, were arrested for planning and carrying out the assassination. They were both indicted on multiple charges, including M-Dare charges for the targeted attack, taking Mo3's life.
8-year-old Devin Brown was indicted on a murder charge this week. Another man, 22-year-old Kewan Wright, was also indicted on the same charge earlier this year.
Emily wasn't just another rapper. He was a soldier, a man who stood on business and paid the ultimate price for it. His story is one of talent, success, and tragedy all wrapped up in one. Bubba's death set off a chain of events that couldn't be stopped, and Mo3's loyalty to his best friend ultimately led him to his own tragic end. Some people will say Mo3 knew what he was getting into, that he played the game and lost. Others believe he was taken out because he was too real for an industry that thrives on fake personas.
I felt that one even. Like King Von, I felt it the same, but Mo3 I really been rocking with.
Either way, one thing's for sure. His story isn't just another rap beef. It's a cautionary tale about loyalty, revenge, and the price you pay when you refuse to back down. It's a tragedy when life has become so fragile that fingers pull triggers without a care for the lives that will be taken and the lives left behind that will be affected. Elway was now achieving all his musical dreams and was certain to have become one at the top of the music industry with his passionate vocals and relatable songs. Bubba was but a young man yet to enjoy the pleasures of life. So much was still ahead for him to experience. Who would have thought the young smiling child would grow up only to have his life taken so violently? To date, the crime is yet to be solved. Hopes are still held tightly for anyone in the community to come forward with information about the vehicle and M-Dares that deserve to be brought to justice for the M-Da in the cycle of violence plaguing the streets. McDaniel challenged the Dixon Avenue area of South Dallas to break the silence and speak about the M-Dare of Browning back in March in front of Dixon Grocery in the 3700 block of Dixon Street. The employees knew him. They didn't have a problem with him being here until all of a sudden, some guys drive through in a white SUV Looks to be like a Dodge Durango coming down Dixon, Dave McDaniel said. And the biggest question remains, was Mo3's downfall inevitable? Some say he was just another victim of the cycle, a product of the environment he came from. Others believe he was targeted not just by his enemies in the streets, but by forces beyond what we can see. One thing is for sure, his death wasn't random, and his name won't be forgotten. Even in death, Mo3's music continues to speak for him. His pain, his struggles, and his reality are woven into every lyric, serving as both a warning and a testament to the life he lived. The war that started with Bubba Zamdare claimed Mo3's life a year later, but his influence, that's something time can't erase. The streets talk, but will we ever know the full truth?